Not satisfied with being a total wipeout champion once, the winners are back for more in the series finale at 5:45. Now though on BBC One, the first round of final scores are coming in with Gabby Logan.
Relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all remember. It was two crucial weeks.
Hello, it's back and it's in full flow. The Premier League has been underway for 45 minutes already. The Championship and League One and Two are fully firing also. We've got loads to tell you about. Garth Crooks has slipped back into action like the well-oiled Ferrari he is. And alongside him, his wingman today, the irrepressible Mark Bright. So let's bring you right up to speed with the Premier League so far. They're coming out for the second half as we speak. Blackburn Rovers 1, Wolves 1. Mauro Formica marked his Premier League debut for Rovers with a goal after 20 minutes, but Stephen Fletcher headed Wolves level just 2 minutes later. Fulham 0, Aston Villa 0. No goals, not a lot of goal-mouth action either for the new managers of Fulham and Aston Villa to cheer about. Liverpool 1, Sunderland 0. An eventful first half for Luis Suarez. Missed a penalty, then headed Liverpool into the lead. Stuart Downing also hit the bar. Liverpool have seen plenty of action there. QPR 0, Bolton 1. The newcomers QPR had a goal disallowed. Kieran Dyer stretched it off and then conceded a wonder goal by Gary Cahill on the stroke of half-time. And it's Wigan 1, Norwich 1 at the DW. Ben Watson's penalty after 21 minutes put Wigan ahead, but the new boys struck back in first half injury time. Wes Hoolahan pounced after Ali Al-Habsi let the ball slip out of his hands. But let's head straight to Anfield. Plenty for Damian Johnson to tell you about there.
Yeah, we're just away in the second half. Mightily impressive Liverpool in that first half. They should lead by more than Luis Suarez's header. That goal from Suarez as they attack again through Suarez. An appeal for a penalty. Handball against Wes Brown, not given by Mr. Dowd. Yeah, that goal from Suarez came after he'd earlier blazed a spot kick over the bar. He'd been bundled over by Kieran Richardson, who was lucky to only receive a yellow card. Stuart Downing has impressed on his Liverpool debut. A fantastic run and shot from the halfway line rattled the crossbar. Manchester City boss Roberto Mancini is here. I wonder if he's watching one of those title rivals. 1-0 Liverpool.
And Mark Bright will tell you, so I may as well get him first. He's predicted them for the title this season. If you weren't with us on the red button, you might hear more of that throughout the next few weeks. Let's go to Loftus Road now. Disappointing end to the first half for QPR. Mark Webber watching.
Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bolton Wanderers 1. The new boys came out with all guns blazing, a disallowed goal, and both Bothroyd and Forlan forcing great saves from Jaskalainen. But when Kieran Dyer was stretchered off, the party atmosphere started to lose some of its fizz. The party was eventually turned into a sponsored silence when Bolton bounced back with aplomb. Gary Cahill's stellar shot travelled 15 yards high in the sky, dipping to the top left corner of QPR's net. What might be the goal of the month has put a dampener on the party of the decade here at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bolton Wanderers 1.
It was one apiece in the first half at Ewood Park, but there's a penalty to tell you about already. Richard Askham.
Yes, there is, Gabby. A penalty will be taken by Kevin Doyle for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Matt Jarvis attacking inside the box, adjudged to have been brought down by Mikel Salgado. Kevin Doyle just lining up with this penalty. A first half lit up by 2 goals in a couple of minutes. Blackburn taking the lead. Stephen Fletcher equalising as Kevin Doyle prepares to take this spot kick for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Kevin Friend just making sure everybody is out of the box. Paul Robinson just getting ready on his line as Doyle prepares, steps up, he'll take this right-footed, and it's saved by Paul Robinson, low down to his left-hand side. Punched away, the ball is still active in the box. And a shot by Ward, and it's into the bottom corner. Wolves have scored. The initial penalty saved by Paul Robinson, but a cracking volley left-footed by Stephen Ward into the bottom corner. And Wolves have the lead by 2-1.
A weak penalty, but nobody will talk about that now, will they?
Let off. Yeah, it was definite penalty, there's no question about it, but... You know, they responded very well in Wolves in the first half. They went to goal down, straight up the other end, and Fletcher scored a great header. That's a poor penalty. But you must concentrate and clear your lines. They don't do that. It's a fine volley, though, by Ward.
Second worst away record in the Premier League last season, Wolves were saying before the match. These are the kind of matches that they're going to have to close off, finish, and get 3 points with. They don't want that fight at the end of the season.
Already so far, Wolves are a better outfit, a better proposition this season. You can see that's already a lot more confidence, a lot more assured. Salgado, first thing, an experienced defender like that being so clumsy in the box. Of course, it's a penalty, Mark's exactly right. But what I'm so disappointed, having Robertson made a great save, he saved the penalty, kept his team in the game, his defenders sort of wander back in the box and they're waiting for things to happen. Of course, they're going to get punished. You know, Keane is entitled to be furious about that bit of defending.
OK, let's head around the other Premier League games we haven't been to yet. The DW Stadium, one apiece. I imagine Delia's Wigan pie tasted a lot better after that injury time equaliser, James Mason.
I would imagine so. I would like to have tried it myself. As you say, Wigan won, Norwich City won. This time last year, Wigan faced another newly promoted side in Blackpool and were royally beaten 4-0. So their season started somewhat better this time around as Ben Watson's penalty put them into the lead after Franco Di Santo was brought down by Richard Latt midway through the first half. But Norwich looked to be a team with plenty of goals in them, and despite wasting their fair share of chances, as you say, they scored on the stroke of half-time as Wigan keeper Al Habsi dropped a routine cross for Wes Hoolahan to smash home and equalise. It's Wigan 1, Norwich 1.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Craven Cottage. No goals, but Tony Husband, I'm hearing Shay Given in his new Aston Villa kit is being given the runaround a bit, being kept busy in the early stage of this second half.
Yes, he is. Gabby's been busy in the first 5 minutes of a game which has been a second half, which at least has been some contrast to a cautious and cagey first half. Bobby Zamora going close just a few moments ago after an Andrew Johnson header, found himself just 5 yards out. He didn't really make a proper connection, and Given was able to parry it away. He was in action to punch away across a few moments ago as well. As I mentioned, real contrast with the first period. Alex McLeish, the new Aston Villa boss, of course, saying his side need to hit the ground running. Well, they only had very brief moments of flurries in the first period here, and Fulham had the best chances of that opening half. John Arnorisa should have given them lead after 10 minutes, but it has started more brightly in the second half from a Fulham perspective. Villa, though, on the back foot a little. 5 minutes played, 0-0 in the second half.
Thank you very much, Tony. They're just about to kick off at Loftus Road. They had quite a bit of injury time to play out from the first half. Some of that injury time because of Kieran Dyer, who we understand, guys, has been taken to hospital with a suspected fractured metatarsal.
He was so unlucky. He really was unlucky. Just
that was
before,
like the first
I was
15
saying,
minutes of the match, wasn't
if
it?
he can just get a run of 5-10 games, you know, just staying fit, and it happened in the first 5 minutes. I mean, it's a massive blow for him, and I think just the report, I know he was reporting there, just said that the party went flat.
It's always a risk, though, for a player who's played 16 games in 4 years, starts, that is. You know, he's actually started 16 matches in 4 seasons.
I've never known a player that's been so unlucky in my life. But if you're a manager and you've got little money, as QPR do have, and you can tell that by their signings, you've got to be very, very careful, the people that you do buy, and you've got to look at those records. That's his record. And as unlucky as Kieran is, he hasn't played many games. He's going to need that's Neil Warnock. He's going to need every player at his disposal for as long as he can. He's lost one of his key signings.
But the thing is, if he gets through a pre-season, Gab, and and he's fit for the opening day of the season, you have to play them. You have to play them, and Gabidon's gone there as well. I remember
another player suspect, by the way, for injuries.
Alan Kirbysley, when he signed him at West Ham, you take a chance because of his quality. You know, if you do get the 10 or 15 games, it makes a big difference. They're match-winning players.
I'm suspecting you're going to say Liverpool have impressed you most this afternoon.
No. To be honest, Sunderland have played really well at the start of the second half. They've got forward a lot better than in Liverpool's half.
But overall, from the afternoon?
Well, just that, obviously should be 2 up. Suarez missed a penalty, as we know, blazed it over. But they've combined quite well, Suarez and Carroll at times. And, it's nice to see Charlie Adam play a part in the goal. But Sunderland have started better the second half.
Anybody impressed you?
Downing and Adam. Very unfussy. All-star Liverpool players to me. Get on with the job. Very solid players. No stardust there, just good players.
Is a star somebody who sells the most shirts?
I don't know.
We agree on that. This is an
know.
earlier debate about what defines a star. In Garth's world, being a star doesn't seem to be a good thing, does it?
No, it is a very good thing.
No,
but
Garth said there was no stars in the 80s, which I disagreed all what I say.
Just great players.
OK, the lunchtime kick-off in the SPL saw Rangers playing at the Caledonian Stadium against Inverness. Roddy Forsyth was watching for us.
There were 2 penalty kicks, 2 goals and 2 red cards as Rangers enjoyed a hard-fought victory over a Cali Thistle team who again proved awkward for fancied opponents. To be sure, Rangers had a Jelic goal chalked off for offside against Morris Edu inside 2 minutes, but by the interval they got no closer to taking the lead. That changed on the hour mark when Ross Tockley was judged to have fouled Naismith inside the box and he was dismissed before Jelic converted from the spot. Then there was another Rangers penalty when Shinnie barged Goyan. This time Esson guessed correctly and blocked Jelic's effort, but Edu turned home the rebound. Edu then spoiled a good performance with a needless challenge on Ross, and having been cautioned previously, off he went. Still a profitable outing for Rangers as Cali Thistle stay rooted to the foot of the table.
But Celtic can go top tonight with a win at Celtic Park. It's their first home match of the season. Ian Turner watching for us.
Yes, as it stands at the moment, they will go top, Gabby. They lead Dundee United by 2-1. Both defences have been pretty poor. Firstly, the United rearguard slept as Mastorovic header landed at the feet of Stokes for a tap-in. Then the Celtic back four left Johnny Russell totally unmarked for an equally simple finish. 3 minutes after that, Celtic were back in front. Gary Hooper heading in from 3 yards with the United defenders static. We've played 4 minutes just in the second half. It's still Celtic 2, Dundee United 1.
And you can see there another goal at Tynecastle. It's now 3-0 to Hearts. Brian McLaughlin, we're getting very close to that 5-0 scoreline Aberdeen suffered last season.
They certainly are, Gabby. Aberdeen, of course, still looking for their first goal of the season. This is match 4 for them. No goals scored as yet, and it's Hearts 3, Aberdeen 0. 2 for John Sutton, 1 for Arvidas Novakovas. The Hearts, to be fair to Hearts haven't really fired this afternoon either, but they've not needed to because Aberdeen's defending has been quite atrocious. The third goal there, a mix-up in the Dons' defence, and easily it was for Sutton, just 8 yards out to hammer the ball into the back of the net, and that goal led to a stream of Aberdeen fans leaving the stadium still with 40 minutes left to go, Gabby. It's Hearts 3, Aberdeen 0.
Brian, thank you very much. Let's go to the Championship, to Vicarage Road. You've seen the goal go through the video printer. Derby have broken the deadlock, Mark Bishop.
Big goal for Derby County. Stephen Davis. Watford 0, Derby County 1. Absolute peach of a strike, Gabby. You'll see on the Football League show tonight, Davis cut inside the penalty area, just inside the penalty area. Everyone thought he was going to square the ball to Jamie Ward. Instead, absolutely bullet shot, left-footed, Loach, no chance, top left-hand corner. It had been all Watford first half. Iwalumu, Yates, Forsyth and Taylor all with good chances. Derby looking for their second successive win to the start of a season since 1973. Watford 0, Derby 1.
Let's go to Bramall Lane now. You've seen the goal go through the video printer there. David Oates can tell us more.
Yes, Sheffield United have scored it. Sheffield United 1, Brentford 0. Jordan Slew drilling in emphatically from 12 yards out after hesitation in the Brentford defence gave him that opportunity. That was in the 49th minute. We've played just 52 minutes, but in the opening 7 minutes of this second period, Sheffield United have really upped the ante. They've really turned the screw, and they're much the better side now. Although, as I say that, a shot comes in from the edge of the area from Reeves, comfortably held by Simonson. So Sheffield United, unbeaten at the start of this new season, leading Brentford by 1-0.
Let's go to Anfield. Damien Johnson, a goal to tell us about.
Sunderland have an equaliser, a fantastic one it was too, from one of the new arrivals, Sebastian Larsson. The ball floated in, and he found some space, completely unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Volleyed it straight past Rayner. Fantastic goal from Larsson. It's 1-1.
Yeah, they just started the second half a lot better, Sunderland. And, you know, as Damien's just said there, Sebastian Larsson is at the far post. He's on his own. He backpedals, sets himself, falls over and just does the
Should he have
cycle
that much
kick.
Space?
Pardon?
Well, before you talk about the space, Gary, I've got to say to you, you won't see a better goal.
Great goal.
It's one of the best volleys I've seen. I mean, he's famous for strikes, you know, striking the ball. But it comes over deep from the right-hand side, is going backwards, and he hits it on the volley, and it flies past Rayner. It's a super goal.
It's a fantastic goal, and no more than they deserve. Because
there's a way to go in the second half, but the Suarez missed penalty could prove costly.
Well, gives you that cushion, doesn't it?
Now, we've had a huge debate on this earlier on in the show. I mean, Mark
sending off.
Mark thinks it's a sending off.
It is.
I think we both agree it's a penalty.
Yeah.
But the question is...
Kieran Richardson.
I don't think a tackle's made. I think that Suarez cuts across Kieran Richardson and Kieran catches him.
But the other question is, Charlie Adam, proven penalty taker last season, should he have stood up and taken them, or should he have been asked to take a penalty?
When you move to a new club and you say to the manager, I want penalty, you say, well, there's a pecking order. Steven Gerrard's first, Suarez is next.
Get in the order, get in the queue.
Get in the queue. Or if you're a big signing, you get that guarantee when you sign. You say to the manager, I have to take penalties as well. And the manager then tells whoever it is, look, he's
obviously
on penalties.
Suarez is a star.
But Suarez is off penalties now. A star.
OK, let's go to Oakwell now. The teams new to the Championship from the South Coast, Southampton and Brighton, doing well so far. Southampton not having any problems scoring at the moment, Alan Biggs.
Certainly not, Gabby. I don't know if we do tables inside 2 games, but unless I'm much mistaken, Southampton are top at this moment. Barnsley 0, Saints 1, just the 1 goal, but Southampton oozing confidence and style here. 8 goals already in the first 8 days of the season. David Connolly now has 2 of those. His header edged the first half, and poor old Barnsley, they still haven't opened their account for the season in this Keith Hill's first home league game as manager. 1 result for Hill, though. He's just become the proud father of a baby son, now needing some delivery skills on the pitch from his players. Gulli do Prado in this second half, coming close to a second for Southampton, who lead 1-0.
Alan, thank you very much. Let's go to Fratton Park. The other team from the South Coast, Brighton, also ahead. Andy Barwell can tell us more.
Yes, it's 1-0 to Brighton here at Portsmouth. Craig McHale-Smith's goal late on in the first half separates these 2 sides. McHale-Smith, a player who never gives in, wasn't a classic. Not that Brighton's record signing will care about that. Portsmouth been trying to get back into this. Joel Ward's cross in this second half. Liam Lawrence at the back post, though, lifted it over bar. There's been a good effort too from Herman Ryderson. Just before the start of the game, Portsmouth announced that they've re-signed striker Ben Jarney. Too late to play in this match, where it remains Portsmouth 0, Brighton 1.
Bristol Rovers have got one back against Torquay. It's now 1-2 there. And AFC Wimbledon have doubled their lead at Dagenham and Redbridge. Are they heading towards their first 3 points in the league? Let's go to the Keepmoat Stadium. West Ham might be heading towards their first win of the season. Harry Gresham watching for us.
They still lead by 1-0. Gabby, Nolan's goal after 5 minutes suggested that it would be a bit of a breeze, really, for the rest of the match. But it hasn't turned out that way in the second half. Much better this time from Doncaster Rovers. Giles Barnes had a header for them on 52 minutes. Chris Brown has just been booked, by the way, for a foul on Reed. Better from Rovers, but still West Ham lead 1-0.
Their first win, if they can hold on to that, in 11 Premier League and Championship games. Let's go to the Den now. Notts Forest are the visitors this afternoon. Alex Gordon-Martin watching for us. A draw in their first game in the league. A win against Notts County in midweek in the League Cup. Went to penalties. Losing at the moment, though.
Thanks, Gabby. Yeah, it's Millwall 1, Forest 0. Darius Henderson with the only goal on his home debut. He glanced in a header from James Henry's corner after just 4 minutes. And Millwall should be 2 or 3 up. Wideman, Henry and Hammer Bouatsa have terrorised Forest time and again. Robinson, then Henderson headed wide, both from all of 6 yards. Forest have looked a bit like a side trying to work each other out here. And after significant changes in personnel over the summer, you can kind of understand why. Strikers Garner and Findlay have seen very little of the ball. And Andy Reid's fizzing 30-yard effort is still Forest's only real effort at goal. No changes at the break. Be interesting to see when McLaren will adopt a change in approach in the second half. Millwall 1, Forest 0.
Andy Carroll with his head to a ball, looking lethal as he always used to in a black and white shirt. Those are the kind of goals that you suspect he's going to pop up and score for Liverpool regularly.
That's why you buy Stuart Downing, so you can supply some crosses. Carroll at the far post. It's really not a real test for the keeper. But it's just interesting. Kenny Dalglish just sent on Dirk Kuyt, who I thought had one of his best seasons last year for Liverpool. I think double figures in goals. Needs to win this home game.
Let's go to Elland Road. No goals, but plenty going on there, Naz Premji.
Yes, Leeds United 0. Middlesbrough 0, Gabby 2 sendings off in the first half. Max Gradle and Tony McMahon given their marching orders for 2 yellows, which obviously equal 1 red for both those players. Second half started very brightly. Leeds have come out on the attack, and Tom Lees had a header which hit the upright. But 10 against 10. One more bit of news. Michael Brown's been substituted. He's been replaced by Ramon Nunes, the Carling Cup hero from midweek. Still, Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 0.
And there's a goal at the Broadfield Stadium. Andy Gillies can tell us.
Yes, it's a goal for Crawley. The home side deservedly ahead, nearly on the hour mark. It came from the former Macclesfield's top scorer, Barnett. He actually forced the corner from which the goal came with a shot that was saved at the near post, but from the corner, a thundering header into the bottom corner of the net. Absolutely no chance for goalkeeper Vega. And Crawley deservedly lead Macclesfield by 1-0.
Let's go to Selhurst Park now. Crystal Palace with the lead there. Jackie Oatley watching for us.
Yes, that Jonathan Parr goal early in the first half, separating the sides, but Burnley feeling slightly aggrieved. They're not back on level terms. They had a very good shout for a penalty early in this second half when Wade Elliott looked to have been bundled over by Parr, the player who scored the goal. No penalty given. Elliott absolutely fuming. Perhaps if that had been at Turf Moor, well, who knows. And just before that, Tracy swung in across from the left-hand side. Rodriguez dived, but just about failed to connect. And up the other end, Sean Scannell, lovely play from him. Turned poor Brian Easton inside out, and Easton left on his backside, but the cross came to nothing. Palace 1, Burnley 0.
Let's go to Celtic Park now. Ian Turner there for us, and another goal to tell us about.
Yeah, the previous ones have been because of defensive errors. This was just a beautiful flowing move from Celtic. Chris Commons took it well into the Dundee United half, picked out Ki Sung Young in the far post, and he drove it in. A beautiful, thunderous shot from 20 yards. Celtic 3, Dundee United 1.
Let's get an update from St Andrews. No goals yet for Steve Lee to tell us about which side looks the most likely to threaten.
Well, I think Birmingham just had a pinch in the second half. They've had a couple of decent chances. Jean Beausejour was put through, but he muffed his shot. And then a couple of minutes later, his excellent cross found Chris Wood sliding in. Should have scored, didn't score. In the first half, Coventry probably edged it with chances from Gary McSheffrey and Sammy Clingan. But so far, this West Midlands derby hasn't really come to life. It's 0-0.
And let's go to the King Power Stadium, which was a game which hadn't come to life either the last time we checked in with Ivan Gaskell. Any better?
Oh yes, it really has come to life. We're just past the hour mark in this one. The X Factor's big head singer Jamie Archer did his best to entertain the half-time crowd at Leicester, and rather like Sven's team, he hit the right notes but not necessarily in the right order. Reading on top in the first half with the best chances. Leicester's apparently in slumber during the first 45 minutes, but they seem to have discovered their own X Factor at the break. Adam Federici's Reading goal rather under siege so far in this second period. David Nugent leading the charge. He's struck a post, had a header over the bar. Other chances have come and gone after the half-time tea. Leicester have stirred themselves, but as I say that, would you believe Reading have scored? They've gone up the other end, they've soaked up the pressure and relieved it in the best possible way. Noel Hunt has given Reading, after the second half has started so much in Leicester's favour, a little against the second half run of play. Ahead now, Reading 1-0.
Ivan, thank you very much. Let's go to Elland Road. You can see there Jonathan Howson has been sent off for a second bookable offence. What was it, Nas Premji?
Well, Gabby, Leeds ill discipline here, and it's really getting out of hand. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 0. Jonathan Howson, the captain, should be setting an example. Hauled back Marvin Emnes, who was clear, racing towards goal. He can have no complaints at all, and Leeds down to 9 men now. Still goalless here. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Ipswich looked like they were going to be one of the teams making the early running after their 3-0 win last weekend at Ashton Gate. They're at home today. Tony Lockwood is watching their encounter with Hull.
Yeah, still goalless, Gabby. It's been a busy summer in the transfer market for Paul Jewell. His side, a new-look team, frustrated, plenty of scoring chances, no end product. Damien Delaney, the closest the defender, saw his header crash against a crossbar. A disappointing start to the season for Hull. Defeat in League and Cup, but they've looked so much better since the restart. Robert Corrin testing, David Stockdale in the home goal. Manny Fryatt looking to squeeze the ball home from the tightest of angles. 64 on the clock. It's Ipswich Town 0, Hull City 0.
A goal at Meadow Lane, Andrew James.
It's a goal for Notts County, Gabby. They've got one back through Christian Montano, the man who's on loan here from West Ham United. Notts had been poor in the first half. Charlton fully deserving their lead, first of all through Scott Wagstaff, and then on the stroke of half-time through Paul Hayes. But having made 2 changes at half-time, Martin Allen, the Notts manager, one of those has come good. Christian Montano on loan from West Ham, and he's got a goal back against Charlton. It's Notts 1, Charlton 2.
OK, let's go to Glanford Park and check in there. Preston North End suffering a big defeat last weekend. Looking a bit better today, Adam Pope.
They are, thanks to a wonder goal from their captain Ian Hume after 30 minutes. It still divides the two sides. Both sides could have had penalties in the second half. Neil Mellor, who was booked for going down too easily in the first half, did the same on 50 minutes. The referee, Darren Drysdale, for some reason, not sending him off. And at the other end, left-back Eddie Nolan for Scunthorpe. His goal-bound effort seeming to strike the hand of Clark Carlisle. No penalty. Still Preston lead by a goal to nil.
Let's check in with Damien Johnson at Anfield. Dirk Couch is with a good chance there.
Yeah, ball played through to him. He just didn't have the legs to get through before Mignolet claimed it. But it's much more of an even contest now since Sunderland equalised. Seb Larsson's fantastic volley brought the sides all square. Since then, count on for Henderson, Jordan Henderson, who's making his first Liverpool appearance in the league since signing from Sunderland. He was involved in a rather rash tackle, got a booking, and soon after that, manager Kenny Dalglish decided to make the change. It's 1-1.
Let's go to Craven Cottage. Still goalless. Tony Husband, Motty's there for match of the day. I can't bear to think of him spending the first day of the Premier League season without seeing a live goal.
I think his edit's down to about 5 minutes on the highlights of this one so far, Gabby. It hasn't been a thriller down at the Cottage. We're just past the midway point of the second half. Fulham have been the better side in the second period. Bobby Zamora breaking into the box and seeing a shot well saved by Shay Given, who's been one of the highlights really for Villa on his debut. Andrew Johnson brought an easy save from Given just moments later. Villa have made a change. Their other debutant today was Charles Nzogbia, and he's been replaced by the promising youngster Mark Albrighton. Let's see if he can brighten things up for Villa in this second half.
Thank you very much, Tony. And to Loftus Road, Mark Webber, how have QPR come out in the second half?
They come out with a bit of passion, to be honest with you, Gabby. No goal for them. Tarab just had a shot a few minutes ago which curled to the right-hand side of the bar. Their closest shot yet, but I do feel that Tarab is the key man in this club. He has been for a while, and he's struggling a little bit, I think, with his Premier League life. He's having a little bit of trouble and not doing very well completely. As Bolton push forward now and try and get number 2, he is trying to struggle and get the ball up to the other end. It's 50-50 in terms of possession, but I think unless they crack Tarap and they get him scoring goals, QPR will struggle in this league. At the moment, it's QPR 0, Bolton 1.
Thank you very much, Mark. Let's go to Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace already with the lead and a chance to double it, Jackie Oatley.
There is. They have a penalty. Sean Scannell brought down by Ben Mee. Absolutely no doubt this time over the penalty. They thought there should have been a penalty up the other end to Burnley. That wasn't given. Instead, Crystal Palace have a chance to go 2-0 up against Burnley, and it'll be Owen Garvin stepping up to take it away to my right-hand side. The Palace supporters behind that goal where Lee Grant stands between Owen Garvin and a 2-0 lead. Up he steps, left-footed, and he scores. Crystal Palace 2, Burnley 0.
If Wolves can hold on to their lead, it'll be their first victory over Blackburn Rovers in 11 years, which seems incredible. At Ewood Park, Richard Askham.
Yes, Gabby, Rovers haven't lost to Wolves 8 occasions before this, it was. Rovers are making an attempt to get back into this game, Gabby. They have had chances, Stephen and Zonzi with the best of them, but Wolves just seem to be a better cohesive, more solid unit today. And in Roger Johnson, their new signing from Birmingham at centre-half and skipper as well, perhaps he's going to make the difference for them this season. He's been outstanding in central defence, and at the moment, everything that Rovers throw at Wolves, they seem to manage to counter, and in Hunt and Jarvis, they're launching their own attacks as well, and they still lead by 2-1.
And their last victory in the top flight, Wolves, against Blackburn Rovers was 1965, so it would be a big win indeed for Mick McCarthy's men. Let's go to the DW Stadium, New Boys Norwich, holding on at the moment. James Mason watching for us.
Yep, still 1-1, Gabby. Chances are plenty for either side in what is a very open game. Attractive football from both sets of players, but also too many mistakes and chances missed. Roberto Martinez, the first manager to show his cards by making a double substitution, an attacking one as well, bringing on strikers Connor Salmon and Hugo Rodiega. And I mentioned in an earlier report, Wigan's Victor Moses, well, on 60 minutes he brought the whole stadium to its feet with a wonderful mazy run that nearly ended in a goal. There's genuinely a win on for either side, but it's Wigan 1, Norwich City 1.
Well, the tea time kick-off is, of course, at St James's Park. Let's get the latest now on Fabregas and Nasri's departures, the worst-kept secrets of the summer, of course. This is what Arsene Wenger had to say yesterday.
Arsene, do you expect Cesc and Samir to leave the club by the weekend?
I expect nobody to leave the club.
So you believe they will stay at the club, those two players?
That's a good conclusion from my statement.
Barcelona have briefed one or two people saying that negotiations are progressing. Are you going to sit there and say that that briefing is wrong?
Well, I believe the best for us 1 day before the championship starts is not to focus on the possible transfers. I cannot say it will never happen. I do not say it will happen, but at the moment there is no news, and if we have any news to give you, we will. I promise you, we'll do it. But what we want today is to focus on the players who play tomorrow, and not on the players who do not play. The players who can help the club to achieve performances are more important than the players who don't.
Who knows what kind of game Arsene Wenger's men will play out today. It was they were 4-0 up, weren't they, in February? Ended up as 4-4 against Newcastle. Joey Barton unlikely to feature for Newcastle this afternoon, and the prolific tweeter will no doubt have something to say about the first day of the season. Enjoying his musings very much. We'll chat about both sides in a moment, but let's go to Elland Road. You can see there that 9 and 10 men Middlesbrough have managed to produce a goal between them. It's gone to the side with more players now, Premji.
It certainly has. They've made the numerical advantage count. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 1. Substitute Julio Arca fed Marvin Emnes, and a marvellous run it was from the Middlesbrough forward. He danced around an attacker and then fired a shot into the top corner past Andy Lonergan. It's no more than they deserve. They've been better since having that numerical advantage, and Leeds in disarray. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 1.
And a goal at Loftus Road, Mark Webber.
Yes, and it was a goal by a QPR boot, but unfortunately for them, an own goal. QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. Free kick on the edge of area by Eagles. Came in, Gabby was on the floor, he was trying to clear it. It came off his leg and into the net. Heartbreaker Loftus Road, QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 2.
So 2 of Neil Warnock's new signings featuring in the story of the day, but not the way he would have liked.
I know. I tell you what, I think Clint Hill gets in Gabidon's way a little bit, his own teammate. He kind of bumps in him, knocks him off balance, and as he stretches, he pokes into his own.
No, I don't read
But you know what?
that at all.
I saw QPR today coming out all guns blazing at home, and I thought there'd be a very confident start because of the way they finished the season. They're a good passing team.
On the contrary,
what did you say?
On the contrary, the man behind Gabidon tries to hold off the Bolton player so the ball can go past the far post. Gabidon, in trying to clear it, puts it in his own net.
Yeah, but he collides with Clint Hill, he puts him off balance.
I think Hanson and Shearer will pick this one up on Match of the Day a little bit later on. Round 1 there in undecided. Let's go to Anfield now. It's still 1 apiece, but the goal scorer leaving the pitch, Damien Johnson.
That's right. Suarez is coming off. He scored a goal. He missed a goal from the penalty spot. He's run himself ragged, actually. He's had a very busy summer playing for Uruguay in their successful campaign in the Copa America. And Raul Meireles, a man who's been linked with a move away from Liverpool, is on, sporting a new haircut. A Mohican. 1-1.
Meireles with his Mohican and tattoos, well worth a look at on Match of the Day later on. What are you ooshing out there? Is there anything I should go to?
No, don't go to it, but there's a great strike by...
Just hearing...
By Blackburn.
Just hearing that in Joey Barton, in fact, in spite of him walking into the St James's Park completely on his own today, looking like he's in some kind of isolation unit, may well be starting against Arsenal.
Well, I feel slightly sorry for Alan Pardew. Got caught in the middle where he's got a player who, one of his key players from last year, great season, gets involved in an argument with the owner and the club, gets punished, gets told he's got to train alone. Alan Pardew really needs him, wants him. It's an important opening game against Arsenal. Then he's brought back into the fray. He's training, but they say he's doubtful he will start. It would be a boost to him and probably the rest of the fans as well, because they know they need...
Maybe that cryptic message that he tweeted about Isambard Kingdom Brunel's phone number being needed to build bridges, somebody sent it. And the bridges have been built between him and Pardew.
No? I'm not sure that Newcastle can afford to keep a player like Barton out of the side.
Well, he was very valuable in the last season, undoubtedly, but you've got to get on with the people around you, haven't you? Let's go to Loftus Road, though. There's a goal, Mark Webber.
QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 3. The party poppers back on the shelf. Another superb strike after we saw one from Cahill in the first time. This time coming from the boots of Ivan Klasnik. In the middle of the area, just turns, gets a bit of a deflection in the back of the net as well, possibly, but I'm sure Klasnik will claim it because it was a cracking attempt. QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 3.
There was a deflection. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go to Celtic Park, though, where there's another goal. Ian Turner.
Yeah, another goal for Celtic. They will be top of the SPL tonight. It's now Celtic 4, Dundee United 1. Another lovely goal from Celtic. Beautifully worked. Anthony Stokes turned his man, set up James Forrest down the right. His cutback was tucked home from close range by Joe Ledley. Celtic 4, Dundee United 1.
In all of that, we missed another Sheffield United goal. So let's go to Bramall Lane. David Oates.
Yes, Sheffield United 2, Brentford 0 now. The second goal for the Blades in the 65th minute. Matt Loughton's fierce cross was tapped in by Richard Cresswell inside the 6-yard box. No more than Sheffield United deserve. Brentford, I thought, arguably the better side in the first half, but Sheffield United have taken command in this second period. First goal to Slew, second to Cresswell. Sheffield United 2, Brentford 0.
Let's just talk about Klasnić's goal, though.
Yeah.
A deflection.
It was a good turn, good movement, but, you know, I think Paddy Kenny has it. If you go straight at him, goes into the back of the net. But just looking at Neil Warnock in the summaries, what he's picked up Dyes, picked up Gabidon, Jay Bothroyd, DJ Campbell. And you're thinking, they're a wealthy club. You're going to the Premier League, you know, show your intent to the fans by going out and buying a few...
But, yeah, but the rumours are there's another takeover.
There is another takeover imminent, but I can tell you, to get hammered 3-0 at home and your opening day of the season, that Garth said, tells you everything you need to know about QPR today. I'm surprised.
OK, there's a goal in the Championship at St Andrews. In fact, Steve Lee.
And it's Keith Fahey who's got it after Adam Rooney, the substitute who's just come on for Birmingham, lay the ball across the line. Keith Fahey's got the goal. It didn't look like it was coming, but it has now. Birmingham 1, Coventry 0.
And the deadlock broken at Portman Road as well. Tony Lockwood, who's got it?
It's a goal for Hull City. They've been so much better since the restart, Gabby. And it is Matty Fryatt, a lone figure for so long up front for the Tigers, turning Tommy Smith, the defender, one way, then the other, low wide of David Stockdale. And Hull's second half improvement has a tangible reward with an opening goal at Portman Road. Ipswich 0, Hull City 1.
And you can see there, Crawley have doubled their lead against Macclesfield. Let's go to the Broadfield Stadium and hear about that from Andy Gillies.
The goal coming after 74 minutes. It came from the substitute Thomas, who'd only been on the pitch for 4 minutes or so. It was a looping ball over the Macclesfield defence. None of the defenders went back to attempt to clear it. Thomas ran on, challenged goalkeeper Vega, got his head to the ball. Perhaps the keeper should have done better. And the looping header went over the line into the net. Crawley lead Macclesfield by 2-0.
Just seen some goal-mouth action at Craven Cottage, Tony Husband, but no goal as yet.
No, they waited 79 minutes to have a corner in this game, and Aston Villa have now had 3 in quick succession. The third is punched away by Mark Schwarzer in the Fulham goal. Villa are a little bit brighter in the last few minutes. Mark Albrighton on as a substitute has hit the side netting, and moments ago Richard Dunn went close from the second of those 3 corners. Just under 10 minutes to play.
Let's go to Ewood Park. Are Wolves going to hang on to their 3 points, Richard Askham?
They look as though they are, Gabby, but Blackburn are making a good fist of it. Striker David Goodwillie, new signing from Dundee United, £2.8 million man, is on for Blackburn. 19 goals last season. He's had a shot deflected over the bar. David Dunn has fizzed one just over as well. And Ruben Rashaina, the effort that Garth was referring to, going even closer with a left foot shot right out of the sweet spot that flew past the post. But at the moment, Wolves hanging on.
And it's one apiece at the DW Stadium. James Mason.
It is, and it could still go either way. Both sides really attacking at will and showing their willingness to attack as well, which is good to see. Connor Salmon for Wigan headed over, and Grant Holt for Norwich has tried to score. Scored so many last season in the Championship as he heads the ball just over the bar. So with 12 minutes to go, it's Wigan 1, Norwich City 1.
Another goal at the Den. Alex Gordon-Martin.
Yes, Millwall 2, Forest 0, and that might spell the end of Forest's charge in this second half. It was scored by Liam Trotter. Danny Nguessan, the substitute, burst clear down the right-hand side, and there was Trotter advancing from a midfield position to slot home. It's Millwall 2, Forest 0.
0-0 last week at home against Barnsley in the opening game. Got through a penalty shootout against Notts County in midweek in the League Cup. Looks like defeat today for Steve McLaren. No doubt that the aim there and the reason he's there is to get them into the Premier League.
It's going to be a hard league, as it always is, to get out of. And, of course, Steve, for some unknown reason, attracts that negative attention sometimes. So he's got to get over that. He's going to have to be very, very bold, but he started badly. It's not the start he wanted.
I think I read that he said he needs 5 players. to get promotion.
And he's got 3, hasn't he? He's got 3 midfield players in the closed window, in the transfer window.
For a team,
closed window. Is that a tautology? I'm not sure.
Close season.
Let's go to the King Power Stadium. The other ex-England manager in the league is, of course, Sven-Göran Eriksson, up against Reading this afternoon and heading for defeat at the moment, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, he's looking a little reflective on the sidelines, is Sven. This one isn't going according to script. Reading taking the lead. On the balance of the whole game, that came on the hour mark here. That was probably about right, because Reading were easily the better side in the first half. But ironically, Reading's goal, when it came from Noel Hunt, came after Leicester's best spell when Nugent had struck a post, headed over the bar. Other chances rained in on goal. But fascinating moments ago, Kasper Schmeichel, really a chip off the old block, absolutely raging with his whole Leicester team. He went round every single one of his teammates, waving his arms, shaking his fist. He got a standing ovation. My dad would be proud.
And apparently never talks to his father about goalkeeping and about his performances.
Saw him at Bury when he was on loan there, as a young player, and enjoyed every goal, got the crowd wound up.
He did exactly that, remonstrating with his
player,
defenders at Leeds last season,
remonstrating,
didn't he?
yeah. I mean, I think it shows inner confidence.
You might have the players. Giving the crowd. Sorry, you might have the crowd on your side, but the players in the dressing room, words will be said. When you start showboating like that, if you've got something to say it in the dressing room.
If you're losing as well.
Absolutely.
It's easy to do that when you're winning,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Good question.
There are no stars in that Leicester team. OK, let's go to the Keepmoat Stadium now. West Ham heading for their first 3 points of the season. Harry Gratian, are they going to hold on to it?
Yes, I think they probably are, although they've had a couple of wobbly moments. Coppinger's had 2 chances. One was closed down brilliantly by Green, and the next effort really was a misdirected header, which he should really have tested Green in some shape or form. But West Ham have wobbled a bit. They're just settling down. 7 minutes left. They lead by Nolan's goal, 1-0.
Let's go to Oakwell. Southampton holding on for 3 points. Alan Biggs.
Yeah, Gabby, they're almost sauntering to victory here, making it look almost too easy. Barnsley 0, Southampton 1. They're keeping possession so smoothly. Barnsley are being taunted. They're killing Barnsley with their passing of Southampton, but they're simply not putting them out of their misery, despite Dopredo coming close twice in a second half. Saints have dominated. Barnsley haven't had a shot worthy of the name. Poor old Craig Davis on his home league debut at Oakwell, playing largely alone up front, but grateful now for the support from the bench of Ricardo Vaz-Tey. It's Barnsley 0, Southampton 1.
And that's the same scoreline at Fratton Park. Andy Barwell.
Yes, Brighton's defence pretty miserly in winning the League One Championship last season. They're continuing that good work at this level as well. No way through for Portsmouth this afternoon. They've introduced Dave Kitson for Joel Ward. Kitson's showing plenty of attitude, a little too much for the referee who's booked him. And Kitson's just inches away from heading in an equaliser at full stretch. He just couldn't get that final header in. Surprising, only 16,500 here at Fratton Park this afternoon for this South Coast derby, but there's certainly plenty of noise. But it's still Portsmouth 0, Brighton 1.
Let's go to Loftus Road. A goal, Mark Webber.
And the QPR stand start emptying. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bolton Wanderers 4. In front of me, Fabio Biratore walks to the exit, and he is booed roundly by the QPR fans around here. Bolton don't care about that. Klasnic on the right of the area, lovely through ball to Muamba. Muamba tapped it in, took the effort, accepted, and very happy. And why not? Bolton Wanderers look like they're top of the Premier League tonight. Put that one in the diary. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bolton Wanderers 4.
It's tough, isn't it? It's your hype and expectation, your joy of winning the championship, and it's a tough lesson.
Top of the show that Bolton were going to be a severe test, and this was going to tell you all you need to know about QPR. And also, there's a lot of people saying that Tarab's, and I was one of them, if Tarab has a great season, then obviously QPR will, it'll go a long way to them surviving. He's playing against much better players. There's a question mark about his character. Can he come to terms with the Premier League and the standards required? Today, he's hardly had a touch.
He's off the pitch. Neil Warnock took him off. I think when you're looking at your opening game of the season and you draw a team... Well,
who you think you should be.
Yes. This is Bolton. Neil Warnock will pinpoint that and say, home win.
West Brom lost 6-0 on the first day of last season and stayed up. So yes, it's not the end of the world.
Do you know what? It's a reality check as well.
They did also change manager, though. through the season.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I'm just saying it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Let's go to Glanford Park. There's a goal, Adam Pope.
Yes, it's 1-1 now, just as Preston look to shore it up. Scunthorpe have got back on level terms. One of their new signings, Andy Barcham, after scoring on his debut in midweek, has slotted home from the edge of the area for 1-1, just as Preston try to see the match out by bringing on new boys, Juval Sumo up front and left-back Steve Smith. But it looks like Barcham has sealed a point for Scunthorpe. Both sides looking for a first win. Scunthorpe 1, Preston 1.
So our derby going for consecutive wins for the first time since 1973 at the start of the season at Vicarage Road. Mark Bishop.
Yeah, it's looking that way, Gabby. Watford 0, Derby County 1. Just 12,263 fans in this grand but decaying old stadium. Watched an absolutely incredible goal from Stephen Davis, cut inside on the right into the penalty area, then turn inside Eustace on his left before unleashing a terrific shot past Scott Loughton to the top left-hand corner. Former Watford favourite is Sean Dyche's first home match in charge. He watched his team totally dominate the first 45 minutes. Iwelumo, Jenkins, Sordell and Dickinson all with great chances. Full credit to Derby. They're going to win their second match on the bounce start of the season, as you said, for 38 years. 0-1.
And they'll be third tonight behind Southampton and Brighton. But a bit of drama for Southampton at Oakwell. Alan Biggs.
Yes, they're going to be made to sweat, I think, for the first time this afternoon because they're down to 10 men, Gabby. Richard Chaplow on as substitute for them, sent off for what looked a fierce, a reckless challenge. A straight red card it was, and Chaplow disputed it. He lingered, he queried it. But the fact is, Saints are down to 10, and some encouragement for Barnsley in the final 5 minutes because it's still only 1-0.
Of course, that would be if things stay as they are. Well, as it is at the moment, it's the spoils being shared at Anfield. Damien Johnson, Dirk Kuyt getting a nice head bandage there. Brighty reckons he's counted 7 or 8 so far this afternoon across the Premier League. Head injuries, that is.
Yeah, there have been 1 or 2 yellow cards dished out as well, but on that occasion I didn't see one given for that collision with Kuyt. Liverpool have been fantastic in the first half and gone right off the boil in the second. Kuyt on as a second-half substitute to try and inject a little bit of fizz. He was top scorer, of course, last season, but he's been unable to do so. Sunderland have really battled hard in this second half, got back into it with that fantastic volley from Seb Larsson, and at the moment deserve their share of the spoils. 1-1.
Well, when Paul Lambert looks across at the other results and sees fellow promotees QPR are losing 4-0 at the moment, he'll be delighted to take a point from the DW Stadium. James Mason, do they look like they can?
I think they can, but neither side seems to want to settle for that point. They're both going for it. And Paul Lambert is fun to watch, I must say. He's been animated all afternoon, kicking every ball, heading every ball. But it's Wigan in their 7th season in the Premier League that look like they could score in the final few minutes. Ben Watson striking the post only moments ago. Norwich going forward now, but it's Wigan 1, Norwich City 1.
And Wolves heading for a famous victory at Ewood Park. Richard Asker, are they holding on well?
Yes, they are, Gabby. They're just seeing out time now. Jamie O'Hara and Carl Henry keeping the ball. Stephen Hunt has had a shot that flashed just past Paul Robinson's post. David Goodwillie, the new signing for Blackburn, he's made a good impression, curling a shot just round a post, but Wolves look safe now for 3 points.
No goals, though, at Craven Cottage. Tony Husband, are you going to see one today?
Well, it's a dangerous man who says we definitely won't at this stage. We're 30 seconds into 3 minutes of injury time, Gabby, but you have to say this appears like one of those games that's heading for a stalemate. The match has been very much contested between the two midfields, and it's really needed just a little bit of quality from one side or the other to open them up. Villa have had their decent spells in this second half after Fulham had come out really out of the blocks well at the beginning of the second period, but no sign at the moment of that crucial winning goal.
Potentially heading for the last spot on Match of the Day, but I never said that. But anyway, let's go to Celtic Park now. Ian Turner are watching Celtic cruise to victory and cruise back to the top of the table, the only team in the SPL with a 100% record.
Yeah, they're doing it in style today with goals from Stokes, Hooper, Key. We had a goal from Johnny Russell from United that made it 1-1, but a lovely fourth goal for Celtic with some great work down the right, and Celtic are really putting down a marker as the favourites, the hot favourites to win the SPL this year. I've seen Rangers a couple of times, Celtic a couple of times, and they really are playing well. We've got 3 minutes to go. Celtic 4, Dundee United 1.
And to Tynecastle, where Hearts are beating Aberdeen, and Brian McLaughlin is watching for us.
Yeah, they're cruising to victory. It's Hearts 3, Aberdeen 0 as we enter 3 minutes of additional time at the end of the game. Novakovic, midway through the first half, opening the scoring in a double from John Sutton. You could see the confidence simply oozing out of the Aberdeen side after they lost that third goal. A stream of supporters heading out of the stadium from the Aberdeen side, I have to say. And Fraser Fyfie had a terrific chance to pull one back for Aberdeen, just 8 yards out with the goal gaping, but he pulled his effort wide of goal. Hearts are going to enter the Europa League tie against Spurs on Thursday evening in great form. They win. They're going to, anyway, they're leading at the moment by 3-0 into stoppage time here at Tynecastle.
Let's go to the King Power Stadium. Ivan Gaskell, another goal there.
Yes, it looks like Reading have tidied up. Well, I'm certain they have. We're into added time here, and a man with a famous name and something that Carnu would have been very proud of, has surely stitched it all up for Reading. Hal Robson Carnu, a minute into injury time, lashing the ball into the top corner. Schmeichel, who'd been raging to every single one of his Leicester teammates, will be absolutely apoplectic at the end of this one. 2-0 Reading.
And let's go to Meadow Lane. Charlton hanging on to the lead there, Andrew James.
That's right, Gabby. It was billed as the clash of the two top-of-the-table sides in League One, but it's Charlton with their 2 first-half goals who look like they're going to hang on, but hanging on they have been in this second half. Notts got a goal back through Christian Montano, and it's been all Notts County really in the second half. But Charlton look to be heading for top spot with a second consecutive victory. It's Notts County 1, Charlton 2.
Full-time whistle has blown at Craven Cottage. 90 minutes, no goals. Anything else to report, Tony Husband?
Not a lot, Gabby. We could almost leave it there, really. New starts for Fulham and Villa in the shape of 2 new managers today, but Alex McLeish probably the more satisfied than Martin Jol. Fulham were weak defensively last season. Today they were marshalled by the impressive Shea Given in goal. They offered Fulham few chances. When the home side did get through, they wasted the opportunities. John Arnorisa, the chief culprit. For the most part, the 2 midfields fought this battle out, and neither possessed the guile or flair to force a breakthrough. Villa's best effort, Mark Albrighton hitting the side netting. Fulham potentially, of course, have a marathon season ahead of them. This was their 7th game already with Europa League action. Perhaps they're pacing themselves. Villa will take that point after a tough summer. 0-0.
Motherwell winning there. They'll stay top of the SPL tonight. Let's talk, though, more about the Premier League, in particular Fulham, Aston Villa. I know you haven't had it as your main game to watch this afternoon. Anything to report from it that Tony has?
I think John Arnorisa firing over early, within 10 or 15 minutes. I think Danny Murphy slipped him in on the left-hand side. It looked like he touched the top of the bar where he probably should have scored. I haven't seen anything else. I suppose both managers think they're off to a start. New managers, new clubs. They've got a point each. But it's just finished at Anfield, so it's a little bit disappointing for them as well.
Yeah,
I think probably the two. Maybe McLeish might be slightly disappointed. I thought
it wasn't a lot crafted, wasn't it?
There wasn't a lot of craft, but you look at the players and on paper they look like they should have won that.
As Brighty just said, full-time whistles blown.
Ferb as well. Seb Larsson peeling away from the post, another debutant to volley them back into the game. It was sort of huff and puff after that. Sunderland probably worth the draw, 1-1.
Talk more about that in a moment, but the Wolves fans are delighted. An away win for their first match of the season, 2-1 at Ewood Park. Richard Askham, they fully deserved it by all accounts.
Yes, they did, Gabby. On this performance, Wolves, beaten by Blackburn on the final day of last season, where both stayed up by the skin of their teeth, have really bridged the gap and more. New centre-half and captain Roger Johnson was a reassuring thou-shalt-not-pass presence at the back throughout. Jamie O'Hara now a permanent fixture in midfield, an attacking threat behind the front men as well. Rovers struck first, though. Mauro Formica on debut before a Stephen Fletcher-headed equaliser sparked a Wolves comeback. A comeback that really gathered momentum in unlikely fashion. Kevin Doyle's spot kick was well saved by Paul Robinson, but when the ball spun out to Stephen Ward, he made no mistake, smacking in a beauty on the volley. Blackburn's new signing, David Goodwillie, he made an impact when he came on, but Rovers manager Steve Keane says he plans to bring in 2 more players, and on this evidence, he needs them.
First win at Ewood Park in the top flight for Wolves since 1965, and with their dreadful away record last season, a much-needed boost to them. Let's go to Celtic Park now. Ian Turner, another goal for the home side.
Another goal, and it came right in the final whistle from substitute James Forrest, an easy tap, and he adds 2 goals from Stokes, Hooper, Keane Ledley. Johnny Russell's reply for Dundee United, easy for Celtic. Celtic 5, Dundee United 1.
It's all over at the DW Stadium, and Norwich's first 90 minutes back in the top flight, and they'll be fairly pleased with that, you'd think, James Mason.
I would imagine so, Gabby. Wigan Athletic won, Norwich City won, a full-blooded encounter by two sides that showed their willingness and ability to attack. Two good reasons why they deserve their place in the Premier League. Wigan took the lead from the penalty spot in the first half. Ben Watson converting after Norwich defender Richie Delat felled Franco Di Santo, and Norwich appeared shell-shocked for the rest of that half, but were gifted away back in moments before the break as Wigan keeper Al Habsi dropped a right-wing cross and Wes Hoolahan equalised from close range. The second half was frenetic, with Ben Watson hitting the post late on for the home side as they pushed for all 3 points, but Norwich did hold firm, and they've earned a point on their return to the Premier League. 1-1 it ended.
Let's go to the Keepmoat Stadium now in the Championship. West Ham suffering that injury time winner from Cardiff last weekend in their first game in the Championship, but they weren't going to do that again. Harry Gresham today held on to the lead.
Yes, they've opened their account despite a couple of anxious moments when James Coppinger wasted two very good chances in the second half. But Nolan's goal in 5 minutes set up this win. For me, he was a class act. Some of the other stars seem to be playing well within themselves. Maybe this was their reality check. For Rovers, injury ravaged, 11 injured players, 2 games, 2 losses. West Ham had the chance to put down a marker. Well, they won, but that's all you can say.
Last-minute drama at Fratton Park. Andy Barwell, a penalty, but to whom?
Oh, it was a penalty to Portsmouth, trailing 1-0, and the final whistle goes. It was the final kick of the match. It was handball by any Brighton player. It was so congested in there. The referee pointed to the spot. Up stepped Liam Lawrence to take the penalty kick, and he hit it smack against the post, and Pompey couldn't get the rebound either. Brighton have got their first win at Fratton Park in 26 years. It's finished Portsmouth 0, Brighton 1.
Another good day for Brighton. Let's go to the Den. Another bad day for the ex-England managers. Steve McLaren's side, Nottingham Forest, losing. Alex Gordon-Martin.
Yeah, another bad day indeed, Gabby. It's finished Millwall 2, Forest 0. Darius Henderson on 4 minutes with a goal on his home debut before Liam Trotter wrapped up the points 15 minutes from time. Millwall were absolutely dominant in the first half. Henry and Buatsa tormented Gunter and Cohen, delivering several excellent crosses. Henderson and Paul Robinson should have converted 2 of them. Forest relied heavily on Lewis McGugan's craft last season. They were much improved when he saw more of the ball here, particularly early in the second half. Robbie Finley's clever flick hit a post, and the momentum of the game had swung, but only briefly. It wasn't until substitute Danny Nguessan motored down the right flank unopposed. His cross found Trotter, who side-footed home from 6 yards. Kenny Jackett could celebrate his 100th home game in charge after a well-deserved win, and Millwall continued to be a settled, well-organised and spirited side. Forest are in transition, but Steve McLaren will know very well that expectations are high, and he has much to prove. It's finished Millwall 2, Forest 0.
He sent him off.
Let's go to Loftus Road. Mark Webber, not over there yet. The drama's not over either, is it?
Well, it is over now. Clint Hill sent off with a red card in the dying minutes. QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 4. And Gabby, what contrasting fortunes. Bolton deservedly top of the Premier League. QPR bottom after they got a real lesson in top flight play today. The QPR seem to have had the broken mirror of the luck of a salesman, the luck of a broken mirror salesman. Whoa, let's pour praise on Bolton Wanderers. Cool under early pressure. They bossed the game really, scored some fantastic goals, and they've sent a clarion call to the rest of the league today, to be honest with you. But Adele Trapp's dad's Vuvuzela fell deathly silent during this one. QPR 0, Bolton Wanderers 4.
Martin Atkinson used his red card 11 times last season. It was the sucker punch for QPR. Garth, was it a fair sending off?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I didn't see the whole incident. I just saw the remnants of it, and it seemed as though Clint responded to the challenge, and clearly Martin Atkinson felt he should have got sent off. I'm watching the monitor now, and it's quite obvious that Neil Warnock is waiting for Atkinson to come off the field. Now, I'd be interested to know what he's going to say, because quite frankly, they've been well beaten. Yeah. The sending off looked to me justified. The little bit I saw, it was retaliation of some sort. He's been well rallied, but it's been a bad day. Why don't you just vacate the area?
Would be better off just going in and cooling down.
Just quietly getting away and just reflecting and licking your wounds and recovering for the next day. You don't want to be having a row with the referee now.
No. OK, plenty of sendings off at Elland Road this afternoon, but no win for Leeds United. They had such an impressive home form last season, Naz Prem G, but Middlesbrough got the better of them today.
They certainly have. It's finished here. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 1, again with more red cards than goals. Max Gradle and Johnny Howson were shown 2 yellows and subsequent reds for the home side, and Tony McMahon suffered the same treatment for Borough. The numerical advantage told in the second period. Marvin Emnes with a lovely strike, which was enough to secure the points. A second defeat on the bounce in the league, and a pre-match demonstration, Gabby, by the home fans here. All is not well at Elland Road. It's finished here. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 1.
First defeat at home in 18 games for Leeds United. Let's go to Oakwell. Another of the South Coast teams going well. Alan Biggs.
Southampton are 1-1-0, but there were some almighty late scares for them. Ricardo Vazte, Barnsley's shot in anger, first shot in anger really, was saved. Mile Addison with an effort off the line in stoppage time. Otherwise, an absolute stroll for Southampton, who sit proud and pretty, top of the table. 8 goals in the first 8 days of the season, and the record league run now stretched to 8 successive victories. Only 1 goal needed in the end. David Connolly's first half header, the only anxiety apart from those late scares. Richard Chaplow sent off near the end. Saints winners 1-0.
Thank you very much, Alan. OK, let's get the full classified results now with Tim Gudgin.
And in the Barclays Premier League, Blackburn Rovers 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Fulham 0, Aston Villa 0. Liverpool 1, Sunderland 1. Newcastle United and Arsenal kick off at 5:30. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bolton Wanderers 4. Spurs match with Everton postponed. Wigan Athletic 1, Norwich City 1. In the Empire Championship, Barnsley 0, Southampton 1. Birmingham City 1, Coventry City 0. Crystal Palace 2, Burnley 0. Doncaster Rovers 0, West Ham United 1. Ipswich Town 0, Hull City 1. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 1. Leicester City 0, Reading 2. Millwall 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Portsmouth 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. And Watford 0, Derby County 1. In League One, AFC Bournemouth 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Bury 0, Carlisle United 2. Chesterfield 1, Stevenage 1. Colchester United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Exeter City 0, Milton Keynes Dons 2. Hartlepool United 1, Walsall 1. Leyton Orient 0, Tranmere Rovers 1. Notts County 1, Charlton Athletic 2. Rochdale 2, Huddersfield Town 2. Scunthorpe United 1, Preston North End 1. Sheffield United 2, Brentford 0. And Yeovil Town 3, Oldham Athletic 1. In League 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Southend United 2. Aldershot Town 0, Northampton Town 1. Barnet 1, Port Vale 3. Bristol Rovers 1, Torquay United 2. Burton Albion 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Cheltenham Town 1, Swindon Town 0. Crawley Town 2, Macclesfield Town 0. Crewe Alexandra 1, Gillingham 2. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, FC Wimbledon 2. Hereford United 0, Morecambe 3. Oxford United 1, Bradford City 1. And Plymouth Argyle 1, Rotherham United 4. In the Blue Square Premier, AFC Telford United match with Luton postponed. Barrow 1, Tamworth 1. Darlington 1, Braintree Town 0. Ebbsfleet United 1, York City 2. Grimsby Town 0, Fleetwood Town 2. Hayes and Yeading United 3, Alfreton Town 1. And latest score, Kettering Town 2, Newport County 2. Kidderminster 2, Gateshead 3. Mansfield Town 1, Bath City 1. Southport 2, Lincoln City 2. And Wrexham 1, Cambridge United 1. In the Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Celtic 5, Dundee United 1. Hearts 3, Aberdeen 0. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0, Rangers 2. St Johnstone 0, Dunfermline 1. St Mirren 0, Motherwell 1. The Arnbury Scottish Division 1, Dundee 1, Ayr United 1. Falkirk 2, Partick Thistle 1. Greenock Morton 2, Livingston 1. Hamilton Academical 5, Ross County 1. And Queen of the South 1, Wraith Rovers 3. In Scottish Div 2, Albion Rovers 1, Forfar Athletic 0. Cowdenbeath 3, Brecon City 1. Dumbarton 1, Stirling Albion 5. East Fife 2, Airdrie United 0. Stenhousemuir 2, Arbroath 0. And Scottish Div 3, Alloa Athletic 2, Clyde 2. Berwick Rangers 4, East Stirlingshire 2. Montrose 3, Elgin City 0. Peterhead 2, Annan Athletic 3. And Queen's Park 2, Stranraer 0. In the Welsh Premier, Afan Lido 0, Prestatyn Town 1. Airbus UK Broughton 1, Port Talbot Town 1. Bangor City 2, Llanelli 1, latest score. Carmarthen Town 0, Newtown 1. In the Carling Premiership, Ballymena United 3, Glenavon 3. Carrick 1, Crusaders 2. Coleraine 1, Cliftonville 1. Glentoran 2, Dungannon Swifts 1. Linfield 5, Donegal Celtic 0. And Portadown 5, Lisbon Distillery 1.
And just one late kick-off to tell you about. It's currently Kettering Town 2, Newport County 2 in the Blue Square Bet Premier. Let's have a little look at the tables, starting with the Premier League. Bolton Wanderers top of the table after starting their season in style with a 4-0 win. Wolves, who survived relegation by a whisker, are second after beating Blackburn at Ewood Park. Liverpool and newly promoted Norwich City among the cluster of teams in joint third. The likes of Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal yet to play, of course, this weekend. QPR bottom of the pile after getting a Premier League lesson from Bolton at Loftus Road. Blackburn, the other losers this afternoon. Let's go to the Championship. The new boys Southampton extend their club record to 8 successive wins. Another promoted club, Brighton and Derby, are the two other sides with a 100% record. At the bottom, Bristol City, who play tomorrow, prop up the 4 clubs yet to earn a point. The 9 sides immediately above the West Country side all lost today. To League One, Charlton, Sheffield United and Tranmere sitting top of League One after making it 2 wins from 2 matches. Colchester lead a trio of teams on 4 points. At the bottom, Oldham and Leyton Orient remain without a win and prop up the table. Chesterfield, Preston and Rochdale all earned their first points of the season today. In League Two, Rotherham, Gillingham and Southend locked together at the top after registering away wins. The teams in 4th to 8th all earned their first victories of the season. At the bottom, Hereford barely avoided relegation last season. They've slipped to the bottom of the table already. Crewe and Macclesfield also await their first points of the campaign, while Oxford and Bradford got off the mark with a draw in their encounter. And to the SPL, Motherwell lead the way after maintaining their unbeaten start to the season. Celtic and Rangers are within striking distance, though both won today, and they have a game in hand on Motherwell. The bottom 3 all lost. So let's get the headlines from the Premier League today. It was Wigan 1, Norwich 1. The new boys holding their own in their return to the Premier League. Wes Hoolahan pouncing for the Canaries in a first-half injury time period to cancel out Ben Watson's penalty for the Latics. It was Blackburn 1, Wolves 2. Mauro Formica, a goal-scoring Premier League debut for him for Rovers. But Wolves just avoided relegation trapdoor last season, battled back, and goals from Fletcher and Ward gave them the victory. And it was goalless between Fulham and Aston Villa. Fulham providing much of the cottage industry, but there's no inch given by Villa's debutant goalkeeper, who ensures it ends a point apiece for the 2 new managers. You can see all the goals, all the incidents on Match of the Day. Gary is back and so are the Allens, Hansen and Shearer, 10:15 on BBC One. And then it's the Football League show at 11:35 tonight. All the day's league action with Manish for you. And tomorrow, Match of the Day 2, it'll be a busy one with Stoke, Chelsea and West Brom, Manchester United on BBC One at 10:25. And in the cricket, England officially the best cricket nation in the world. They demolished India at Edgbaston to usurp the tourists at the top of the world Test rankings. Stuart Broad and Tim Bresnan mopping up India's tail-end batsmen to clinch victory by an innings and 242 runs, giving England an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 4 Test series. We thought you'd like to know that. Let's go to Anfield now and hear from the Sunderland manager Steve Bruce talking to Damien Johnson.
Steve, what was your verdict? It's kind of a game of two halves, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's we got off to a bad start, didn't we? You know, we give a soft penalty away, and then they missed it in the reprieve, and our Achilles heel set pieces, unfortunately, has undone us. But the longer we went in it, the better we got, and all credit to them. They could have ducked under. In the end, I thought it was going to be us who was going to nick it. So, very, very pleased. It was never easy coming here with all the hype that surrounded it, all what they've done in the summer. But very, very pleased for the lads.
For the penalty, should Kieran Richardson have walked?
I don't think so, but I'm not going to say that, innit? It looked to me as if he was away from goal. It looked to me as if we could have retrieved it. I think he'd overhit it, really, and I think Kieran's more stumbled into him. It was a definite penalty, of course. For me, no red card. Thankfully, we've got one which has gone our way.
I think everyone knows about Seb Larsson's ability from a dead ball situation, but that was a heck of a volley to get the equaliser.
I had the privilege of signing him when he was at Arsenal and brought him to Birmingham some 4 or 5 years ago, and we all know his delivery, and it's got better. And what a way to crown your debut today! To score a goal like that at Anfield was terrific to see.
That's Steve Bruce there. Let's go to Guy Mowbray watching for Match of the Day. Well, he said it. He was going to say that Kieran Richardson should have stayed on the pitch, but it does really all hinge on that incident, doesn't it? Because not only did the player stay on, they missed the penalty, Liverpool, and perhaps, they will rue that chance now, because in the first half, they looked like they were going to walk this match, Liverpool.
Oh, didn't they just? Yeah, and Phil Dowd has previous here, doesn't he? Because 5 minutes into the Carling Cup final, wasn't it, 2 years ago, Nemanja Vidic brought down Gabby Agbonlahor, and he stayed on the field and United went on to win. Well, it didn't hit Liverpool that badly, did it? They still got a goal moments afterwards, and as you said, Gabby, absolutely tremendous first half, but for some reason in the second half, they just lacked a little bit of something, a little bit of spark from somewhere. And Steve Bruce and his team, credit to them, because what a battling performance, what a good performance in the second half. And you know better than I do, because you've seen the games coming in. If there's a better finish today in the Premier League than Seb Larsson's, then I really can't wait to see it.
Thank you very much, Guy. It was definitely Liverpool's first half, wasn't it? Sunderland, I mean, you said straight away that a few minutes into the second half that Sunderland were right back in there.
Came out strong and pushed Liverpool back, dominated possession. Liverpool, for some reason, just kept giving the ball away. There was no cohesion in the team like there was in the first half. And like you said, in the first half, I thought Liverpool were going to go on the charge. The missed penalty makes a difference. I disagree with Steve Bruce. I think it is a red card. Kieran Richardson, nothing to do with the last man. I think he denies a goal-scoring opportunity, because I think Suarez goes to the side and he's got a tap in. Do
you think there's something about the timing of all that? Phil
early in the game,
early on in the first game of the Premier League
season. This is an issue. You get away with things early in the game because it's so early. But the rules, the laws are the laws. If it's a free kick and it's a penalty, he's denied a goal-scoring opportunity. I think it's a red.
Phil Down is the law. He is on the pitch. He's the law, and he decided he didn't think it was worthy of a sending off. I happen to agree with him. Let the public make the decision tonight. It's an interesting debate. When Guy Mowbray talks about they lacked a little bit of something, I think that little bit of something is a little bit an early start to the season, and a certain Steven Gerrard. Remember, he's forgot to join that squad. He's integral to it, and also you can't blame Kieran Richardson for the missed penalty. He might have been there to cause it, but he didn't miss it. So
interesting.
I think all in all,
off. I mean, he's had a busy summer with Uruguay, hasn't he?
Liverpool have missed a golden opportunity, but it's early days.
OK. The tea time kick-off is at St James's Park. Can this match be anywhere near as crazy, wonderful and entertaining as the 4-4 draw played out back in February? Arsene Wenger arriving. I'm going quiet just so you can hear some boos ringing out there. Nice arrival for him at St James's Park. It looked like they were from Arsenal fans, not Newcastle fans. Let's get the team news now from Steve Sutton, who's there for us.
Yes, good afternoon, Gabby. Well, it would be great to think it was going to be like last season's match. I was lucky enough to be here, and what an amazing game that was. But these are two clubs here for whom the summer has been a little like the weather, mostly unsettled, sometimes turbulent. As far as Arsenal's concerned, this is a chance to see their future without Fabregas and Nasri, neither player in the squad, and both, as we led to believe, halfway through the exit door. Of their summer signings, Gervinho starts, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Carl Jenkinson are on the bench. Well,
Newcastle without two of their influential players of last season. Kevin Nolan and most recently Jose Enrique have gone. New faces Johan Cabet and Demba Ba both play. Also in the starting 11, the controversial tweeter Joey Barton. Gabriel Obertan is on the bench.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, a bit of a shock that. We saw shots of Joey Barton arriving on his own. Not another player within 20, 30 metres of him earlier on. Assumed that he was just... Well, he's almost self-imposed isolation.
Gabby, it doesn't matter, he plays. He plays. That's the most important thing for Newcastle. Someone of his ability, Newcastle can't afford to leave out.
Absolutely. It was just a bit of a shock when you saw him earlier on arriving on his own.
That depends, Gab. If they come by coach or by car, he comes up the tunnel on his own. He's an influence in the dressing room. He's an important player. He's a key player. I think Alan Podge...
Can he still be a positive influence in the dressing room with what's going on? Isn't that difficult?
I think if the manager says, right, put everything else aside, this is the most important game of the season. It's the opening game, right? Forget what's going on with Joey. You're back in the team. He doesn't wear the armband. Colaccini's the captain. But Joey Barton will be an influence on the pitch.
Newcastle fans love him for what he did last season and how he...
Common sense has prevailed there.
Correct. I think they'll give him a rapturous applause. They want him in the team. If he's got to be motivated, he's got to be focused.
On the other side of the pitch, I think there are bigger problems here. And if our report is right, and Arsenal fans are booing Arsene Wenger, the tide is turning. I'm not sure whether that's right, but if it's true, the tide is turning there. And I've got to say to you, there's some unknowns here. I mean, Thomas Rosicky starts. For me, he's biscuits. He breaks. He's never fit. You've got Gervinho, I know little about. We're waiting to see just how good he is here. So there's lots of unknown. When you can't keep your best players at a football club, you got problems.
Okay. There was a poll that said 47% of the fans wanted Wenger out, which I was quite surprised at.
OK, well, they weren't good noises for him to arrive to St James's Park too, certainly for Arsene Wenger. Let's go to the DW Stadium now. Roberto Martinez saw his side play out a 1-1 draw against Norwich. Steve Bauer caught up with the Wigan manager.
Roberto, 1-1 on the opening day. You satisfied with that?
Well, it's as you would expect. Opening game of the season, playing against a newly promoted side that they got a great attacking threat and a great mentality, and it was a tough game for us. Obviously, certain things that they affected our rhythm. We lost a player for majority of 10 minutes in the first half, and that disrupted a little bit the way we want to play, and we were a little bit rusty at times. I don't think we played as well as we can do, but even then we're not happy with in the manner that we considered our goal. But I'm delighted in the manner that we reacted, in the manner that we tried to find the solutions to get the winning goal, and we were very, very close at the end. We had to define well because Norwich are gonna present a threat in any ground that they go into the Premier League in the manner that they play. They are a very tight group. They play with a winning mentality for a long time now, and they're going to be competitive against anyone that they play. So I'm pleased with the reaction and pleased in the manner that we took responsibility, and then obviously really excited and ready to correct the things that we didn't do well today, that I feel we are a lot better than that.
Always so steady and calm, isn't he, Roberto Martinez? Win, lose or draw. Let's go to Craven Cottage. John Motson was watching the only game with no goals in the Premier League so far today, Motty. Although I can see there being maybe the odd goal at St James's Park later on. Maybe you don't want to talk about your game. Maybe we should reflect on Norwich and QPR, the two new teams to the Premier League today, and their contrasting results. QPR, I know you haven't had a chance to see the match, but welcome to the Premier League, Neil Warnock and your men.
Yes, well, I think there's always going to be a question mark over QPR and the ownership and how much investment has gone in there to try and keep them in the Premier League. And that's a very, well, to say the least, a disappointing start. It just shows you that in this league, if you're below par, you do get punished, and clearly Bolton have taken it out on QPR today. I've always felt that Norwich, Gabby, have got the best chance of the three of staying up, simply because I think they're on a real roll, and they've made some very intelligent signings during the summer, and that point at Wigan is certainly a very good start for them, and we obviously have to wait and see what happens to Swansea when they play the multi-billionaires of Manchester City on Monday night. You're quite right to skirt around this game a little bit. There were no outstanding characteristics here at Craven Cottage. It was well contested, but I must just say that Shay Given looks as though he's an obvious and firm replacement for Brad Friedel, because he made two outstanding saves from Bobby Zamora.
Which of the managers, the new managers to their teams, we should add today, do you think will be the happier with that point?
Well, I think Alex McLeish wants to bed in, you know, quietly in one way, but in another way he wants to get his feet under the table. I think the test for him is the first home game against Blackburn next Saturday at Villa Park. Villa played well enough today, by the way. I think we're going to see a bit more of Fabian Delph this season, the young player who got a really serious injury when he first came from Leeds. He teamed up with Petrov in the centre of midfield. Martin Jol will be pleased enough with the Fulham approach play. Damien Duff, Zamora, Andrew John. It's the usual thing from Fulham. I don't think either of these two teams are going to be involved at the wrong end of the table, by the way. But by the same token, I don't think either realistically would be looking at the top four.
Motty, a pleasure as always. Look forward to hearing your dulcet tones on Match of the Day later on. Let's go to the Championship now. Alex McLeish's old side, Birmingham City, in action at St Andrews today, up against Coventry in a West Midlands derby. John Roeder is your commentator.
Jukovic, oh, he's got away here, and just wide from Lucas Jukovic. McSheffrey picks up possession. It's an excellent shot, and that's a super save from Boaz Myhill. Gary McSheffrey looking to score against his old club. Fahy gets away from Klinger. Beausejour. Woods the player in the middle. Chris Wood! Oh, what a chance for Birmingham. Beausejour with the dangerous ball in. Wood was on it in a flash. Unfortunately, from Birmingham's point of view, putting it over from close range. Ridgewell. Oh, off the post. Rooney able to lay it back into the middle, and it is the opening goal for Birmingham City, and it's Keith Fahy who's got it. Rooney so close. No mistake from Fahy. And at last, Birmingham City make the breakthrough.
Good win for Chris Hughton and his team. Let's, though, now hear from the Wolves manager, Mick McCarthy, whose side recorded a 2-1 win at Ewood Park. Alistair Mann is asking the questions.
It must give you a real sense of satisfaction when you can see yourself in control of a game away from home.
Yeah, well, that's something we've been working on, because I have been critical of us just making it end-to-end all the time. And can't score with every attack, so be a little bit more considered, and I thought we were, especially, you know, away from home. We don't have to entertain anybody, do we? Except those 3,000 or 4,000 in goal behind the away goal there.
Well, they looked like they were entertained, looked like they were enjoying it. I know it's only the first game, but you can't send a better message than that after having just escaped on the last day of the previous season.
Well, you may have heard my comments. I think we were better than just escaping, but we did just escape. We had more points. We expect, with the squad we've got, to be better than that, to improve on last season. Good start, but, you know, let's not get carried away. 37 to go. We've got Fulham coming next Sunday and then Villa, so we've got tough games ahead.
He never gets too excited, does he, Mick McCarthy?
Love his honesty, absolutely do. Pleased they survived. He did an interview with Ivan Gaskell, and he said, "Where do you expect to be in 2 months' time?" He said, "Doing the same interview with you in the Premier League." That's his goal.
But, you know, 1965, the last time they won there in the top flight, 11 years since they've beaten them, so
it must be great to have somebody in your dressing room at the very helm, your boss, your manager, your leader, who doesn't panic.
Yeah.
And maybe being at Sunderland and having that terrible season that year, Mick McCarthy, something really positive has come out of it for him, because last season he never panicked. When you've got somebody, your boss, who always keeps his calm, it's great to have people like that around when he's your manager.
Will Kenny Dalglish be a bit disappointed with his side today, do you think?
I think so, yeah, because he spent £50 million in the summer, £50 million when he took over, high expectation, a good home game to open it with. I think full credit to Sunderland, though, Gabby. They thoroughly deserve the point. There'll be better days for Liverpool, there's no question about that. And as Garth said, Steven Gerrard back, but the lack of cohesion in the second half, it looked like threw the numbers up there, they all landed on the floor. I was disappointed, I'm very disappointed in Liverpool in the second half.
You're not going to have time to get your word in here.
Champions?
They can still do it. They can still do it. They can still do it.
Not changing your mind. OK.
You can have your say, even if he can't have his, on 6:06 on Radio 5 Live with Darren Fletcher and Jason Roberts. Let's, though, see you on the red button. That's where we're going now. If not, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.